What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 2 of NRetroSpect. With last week's release of Kirby Planet Robobot on the Nintendo 3DS, I thought it'd be fitting if we take a look at the only Kirby game for the Nintendo 64. This is Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards. While Kirby made its debut on the Nintendo 64 in Super Smash Bros., Crystal Shards was Kirby's first solo adventure in 3D, or rather 2.5D. This platformer begins when the evil dark matter have invaded the home of the fairies Ripple Star. One of the fairies, Ribbon, takes the fairy's sacred treasure, the Great Crystal, and flees the planet. However, dark matter catch up to her and shatter the crystal into pieces. Ribbon crashes onto Kirby's home planet, who agrees to help her find the pieces of the crystal that have been scattered across the galaxy. Released in June of 2000, this platformer took you across 6 different worlds with multiple characters, countless abilities, and the goal of collecting every single crystal shard to defeat dark matter once and for all. If you've ever played a Kirby game before, you should already know what to expect. If not, the most important thing you need to know is that Kirby can inhale his enemies and copy their abilities. In Crystal Shards, you have access to 7 different abilities: Burning, Stone, Ice, Needle, Bomb, Spark, and Cutter. Each ability gives you a different attack. This is standard for a Kirby game. However, in Crystal Shards, you are able to combine different abilities to create new, more devastating attacks. Crystal Shards is the only game in the Kirby franchise with this feature and was heavily praised for it. You can either combine 2 of the same abilities and create an even stronger attack, or combine 2 separate abilities into a completely new one. In total, you have 35 different combinations of abilities to choose from. These new abilities range from the practical to the outright ridiculous. Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards holds the title for the best ability in the entire franchise. I'm talking, of course, about Refrigerator Kirby. Along the way, Kirby finds his friends Waddle Dee, Adeline, and King Dedede, all possessed by dark matter, and must fight them. When you defeat them, they revert to their normal selves and are recruited to help Kirby. Each level has 3 crystal shards to collect, and each world has a boss that must be defeated before continuing. On top of that, you also have a multiplayer mode that lets you and 3 of your friends battle it out in minigames. Kirby 64 had a very lengthy development cycle. At first, it was a direct sequel to Kirby Dream Land 3 on the Super Nintendo. Early screenshots of the game show other characters like King Dedede on his own in further levels of the game, possibly hinting that these characters would have been playable in many more levels. Kirby 64 was also initially planned for the Nintendo 64 disk drive, also known as the 64DD. This plan was scrapped after the abysmal sales of the disk drive in Japan, and development was shifted over to the regular Nintendo 64. Kirby Air Ride was originally planned for the Nintendo 64, first debuting as Kirby Bowl 64, then later as Kirby Air Ride. Screenshots and videos only show 2 game modes, one where Kirby is racing on a snowboard, and the other letting players control Kirby as a spherical ball, similar to Kirby's Dream Course or Super Monkey Ball. After a few press releases, the game was tucked away and finally canceled, until it returned years later on the Nintendo GameCube. Regrettably, I never owned this game during the Nintendo 64's prime. It wasn't until last year that I finally got the chance to play it. And even though I'm not the biggest Kirby fan, it was easy to fall in love with. Kirby 64 is short, sweet, and bursting at the seams with cuteness, but don't let it fool you. This game can be very challenging. With that said, Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards is a charming platformer that not only encourages experimentation, but also reels you in for a fun and quick adventure. Thanks for watching NRetroSpect. My name's Cody, and I'll see you next time.